Women doctors, we hear you. We know your struggles. We know what it's like to be a female doctor in this dominant world. And guess what? Dr. Summer Casmel and myself teamed up together and created Women Dentists Connect. We wanted to create a safe, educational, and inspirational place to come and ask those crazy questions that you don't want to ask. We know that being a female doctor is different than it is for male doctors. You just have different issues, different questions, different concerns. So Dr. Summer Casmel and I are actually hosting a live event in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona on October 11th and 12th. This is for women doctors and their teams. We're talking business. We're talking issues that female doctors face. We're talking team breakouts, how to really rally your team. And we're giving you hundreds of tangibles that you can take home and implement Monday morning. We're also having an amazing lineup of speakers where you'll actually get CE for attending. So come on in. We can't wait to see you. We only have a handful of people that we're allowing in. So run on over to womendentistsconnect.com. Use the coupon code podcast to get the Dental 18 family coupon. Guys, I cannot wait. I would love to see you there. I'd love to connect with you, learn from you, and share. So hop on over Women Dentists Connect. I can't wait to see you in October. Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. We're your hosts, Kira Dent
and Dr. Mark Costas.
Mark and I had this crazy idea that maybe we could combine a dentist and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. And Dental 18 podcast was created.
I'm a practicing dentist, a multiple practice owner, a dental performance coach, and the founder of the Dental Success Institute.
I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, current practice owner, and international dental consultant. Mark and I don't just understand you, we are you.
Our goal is to positively impact the world of dentistry by sharing our lessons learned from the road in hundreds of dental offices.
Two perspectives, one mission, to help dental professionals reach their full potential. Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. Hello, Dental 18 listeners. This is Kira, and I am coming to you with we're bringing her back because you guys know social media and marketing and all those things are not my wheelhouse. So I'm bringing in the specialist to help us out. And I have Lauren. She was on with us earlier and she's back and I can't even thank her enough. She's up early before her kiddos are up. So Lauren, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, I was trying to sneak away before anybody wakes up this morning.
I love you can my podcast, guys. The people that are on the podcast are hardcore. You only are hardcore if you live hardcore. And seriously, they get up early. They were like finding the little pockets of time, and Lauren is no exception. So thank you, Lauren.
No problem, Kira. You're like the master at that. You're like, I don't think you ever sleep.
I do. Sleep is actually my superpower. So if I'm not getting, today though, I did wake up a little early because I knew we started podcasting. But Lauren, you're involved in some big projects right now. You've got a lot of different things going on. Like you're just on fire right now. So fill us in on a little bit of the things you're working on, and then we'll dive right into our topics today.
Yeah. So, we are little, I say little, our little boutique agency is, we're based in Sacramento. We work with tons of different clients. We have a niche in dentistry by accident, and it's mostly just been referral based. But we also work with other types of clients in a consulting fashion. So I'm working on a project right now, and I was just, Kira and I were kind of chatting about this previous. It's a really interesting project. We're working on rebranding a company who just didn't have any consistency in their look and feel and how things were being presented to the market. And so there was a lot of disjointedness and not people weren't recognizing them. And so we're basically taking their business to the next level by rebranding everything, redoing the website, and really creating a consistent look and feel that's modern and attractive to their target audience. And so, I'm not the one that's doing the rebrand. But I'm just consulting with them on how to go to market with that. And so it's a really fun project to work on. It's different. But what I'm really getting out of that is working with a CEO at a very high level that is, leading his team in a really positive way. And so I'm just taking lots of little nuggets out of that. So I feel like I'm getting more out of the project than they probably are, but it's just fun. It's a blessing to be able to do what you love every day. And just to have a passion for your work and to be able to show up and, help people that are, have that same passion. So.
And I love that you just said, you think you're probably getting more out of this project than they are. But as you were saying that, I realized every single one of us, whomever we're around, there's something that we can learn or be inspired by. And when we can surround ourselves, because I'm sure they feel the same way with you, Lauren. Lauren just is bringing so much value. Like, we're getting more out of this than she is. And I think all of us feel that way when we're around people that inspire us, that are pushing us to new levels that we don't know how to get to. I mean, when I chat with you and you tell me different ways to improve my marketing, I walk away like, shoot, that was so fantastic. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I think it's super fun, I think, in life when you can find people that challenge you, that push you, that inspire you, because that's where we feel growth. And so I love that you're doing this project, but you're also realizing, oh my goodness, I could learn this, or I could take this back to my team. Because when we surround ourselves with brilliant people, I feel we become just so much better as a person than we ever could on our own. So I love that. For sure.
Yeah, that collaboration of different minds, I think, is just so special in marketing and just in business in general. I just love learning how people are running, even at, with my dental clients, like how they're running their teams and how they're managing. And, I learn a ton from your podcast and, all of the leaders, in the dental space that, are doing really amazing things to kind of change the way that dentistry is perceived by the customer, and then also change the way that that they're communicating with their patients. So, I totally agree with you that collaboration is really important.
Yes. So, and thank you for that compliment of the podcast. I think we're hopefully doing a great work out there. So we're always trying to deliver the best, but you're right. The collaboration, the growth, all that. So you guys remember Lauren last time gave us some solid, awesome nuggets. And I took action on what she said, meet with your marketing team, work with the marketing team. And so now this is going to be part 2 of our topic, because there were some other things that Lauren and I had chatted about that I feel are so important for you guys to know on the marketing side. So Lauren, take it away. We've got some good topics for them today.
Yeah. So one of the things that we left off on the last podcast that, you and I were talking through some of the ways that we're going to market and presenting ourselves to new patients. We had talked about how beautiful dental offices are on the inside and what an investment that is to make your office really different from the next one, and just, pristine lobby or, top of the line equipment, just, as soon as you walk through the doors, it's like a dental spa, Mm-hmm. And so I see a lot of practices doing that, and that's so beautiful and amazing. But then when you look at their online store, which I would say would be like any social media platforms or website, it's a totally different look and feel. It doesn't match, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things that we've aimed to change in the field, is just that the perception that like, oh, you can just throw up a website and, throw a bunch of stock photos on your social media or some dental jokes and you're good. And that's really where, we're just trying to coach our clients to kind of think a little bit differently about that. A branded photo shoot goes a really long way. So you can hire a college student to come in and do photographs of your office. With the right direction, they can come up with hundreds of photos that are really beautiful that you can use, across the web and in different ways, social media and all of that stuff. So, so you and I were talking just about taking your inside and having it match the outside. So
I love that, because you're exactly right. I mean, we spend so much time, foresight, thought, planning, processing on our buildings. I mean, that takes a lot of time. We contract it out. We work hard. We sometimes even hire interior designers, but yet we work so hard. And yet the reality is our website has to also be equally as pretty. Otherwise, people don't come to it, because their first impression is on the web. That's their very first impression, long before they ever get to meet you. And it's funny you said that, because my first practice, we spent so much time. We bought the practice. 3 months later, we had to move the practice to a new location. I was up early. I think that's where I learned this early morning, like 2 a.m. to 10 p.m. Like, it was crazy town. And we had to move this 4,000 patient base a mile down the road. And so I worked so hard. And I remember the dentist I was working for, as soon as we got the whole building done and it was beautiful and we spent so much time, the colors and everything. Then what happened was we were doing our website and our website wasn't great. And she came to me and she said, Kira, we need to spend It was so much money. It was disgusting. Oh. She told me like, we need to hire these amazing dental people. And honestly, they were great. And I was fighting with her. I said, no, this is ridiculous. We can just have an easy website. Like, I don't think we really need to spend that much money on a website to have a good web presence. And I was so naive and I was so wrong, because I feel we probably should have invested more in the website versus the building, because that's really what attracts people. And so I love that you brought up the point of, does your website feel, and Lauren, you even helped us with ours, because guys, let's be real. I built mine on Wix and then Squarespace. I like ramped up a little bit. And then Lauren definitely took us to the next level with our website. But it has to match and have the same feel. Otherwise, I feel it's not a waste of making your office beautiful, but it's not as productive or forward moving as it could be.
Right. And, to your point, it's like, on the flip side, the other investment is your marketing, right? So you're spending these marketing dollars and driving people to your website. And then what do they find,
Yep.
And so, and I'm not saying all dental websites are terrible. There's some really beautiful ones out there for sure. But, our philosophy is just, having everything have that fluid motion. So from your inside to your web presence to, where you're trying to drive the most traffic. And maybe that's your Facebook page, right? So how does your Facebook page look? Are you taking advantage of all the features there, things like that?
I really like that because I was talking with Dr. Desiree Yazdan yesterday, and we chatted about I think she takes all of what you're saying and she encompasses it really well for me to get a visual. She said, make sure that everything you're doing has the same feel. So like figure out your avatar. Who are you writing to? And for her, it's Olivia. She's got this Olivia. It's this avatar of this person drives this type of a car and they eat this and they wear this. And like, she literally knows who it is. So does her website attract Olivia? Does her Facebook page attract Olivia? Do her Instagram posts attract Olivia? Does her office attract Olivia? So all these pieces are specifically targeted and they have a feel. And then she took it one step further and said, think about Starbucks. Starbucks has made themselves this amazing company where their website, their branding, their location all feels like, hey, I want to have my friends come. I want to hang out. I want to stay here for a long time. It's comfortable here. And she said, does your office, website, and social media all have that same transparent feel? What do people feel when they show up? Are they excited? Are they calm? Are they comfortable? And do all of them feel that same way? So Lauren, what's your take on that? Because for me, that was a good visual. I'm a very visual person to understand how to do this.
Well, and I loved her talk at the Dental Nachos event. I think she's right on point with all of those things. And, it's, and sometimes it's just a matter of, I feel like in dentistry, it's a clinical profession, right? So the skill set is clinical. It's not creative. It's not beautiful. It's not, sometimes it's artistry, right? With implants or surgeries or things like that, but, smile makeovers, but, that doesn't always line up. And so, what a dentist's vision of a website is, or should look like, or a Facebook page should look like, isn't always matching what a creative or a marketer would, want that to be. And so, I love the idea of looking at other industries and seeing what they're doing and how they're kind of changing the game in the web space. The coffee is a space that's great for that. And that's actually the client that I was talking about earlier is a coffee brand. So, you do have to kind of look outside of your own industry. If you want a new, beautiful website, don't go Google dental websites. Go look at most beautiful websites, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I felt for that. I went to dental websites because I'm in dental, obviously.
Yeah. And same thing with like postcards, right? If you're looking for a cool postcard design, like don't go Googling dental postcards. They all look the same. They have tons of stuff crammed in them and they're hard to read and it's just really busy. And, beautify your postcards. Look Google most beautiful postcards, right? So I like the comparison with Starbucks. I definitely think that she's right on target with identifying who your customer is. In the research that we've done, the person that's making the decisions for family dental care in a home is usually the mom, right? And they're making the phone call, they're doing the research, they're looking at the website. So how is your visuals online speaking to a mom? Or is she going to be drawn to a stock photo, right? Or if your target audience, if you're doing, implant surgeries and, you're working on patients that are a little bit older, is that patient, is the demographic they're female or male? So catering to that audience. And I'm not saying you have to have like pink and fluffy and cute and like, There's some really cute brands out there for dental that for sure they're making an effort to attract women and that's working for them. But if that's not your gig and you want, you want to be a little bit more masculine in your marketing, that's totally fine. But it just has to be really aesthetically pleasing. The text needs to line up with the photography, things like that. And I'm a huge fan of just custom everything. Like if you have any stock photos on your website, please go hire a photographer right now and have them come in. And I can even email you you know what we can do, Kira? I can send you like a little cheat sheet on how to coach your photographer to take beautiful pictures.
Yes.
And we can put it on, we can link it to the podcast. I think that would be really helpful. So
yes, that would be very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, we don't use I'm not referring people to super expensive photographers. It's not a huge investment. Spend, $500 or so, find a college student that's passionate about building their portfolio, and give them some good direction, and then use that content for your online presence.
I think one of the biggest themes that I've been picking up over the last couple of days has been, it does not cost a lot of money to do really awesome work. You just need to, like we talked about yesterday, I was talking with somebody and they said, just go to the expert in that industry and pick their brain. Mm-hmm. They'll give you all the resources, all the tips. Lauren, I didn't even think about how coaching your photographer, that's brilliant. And so you can get these amazing photographs, because I used to think, well, if I'm going to do photographs, it's so much work and I have to hire somebody. And I think I was listening to Tony Robbins. Gosh, I think every podcast I've given a shout out to Tony. So apparently I need to switch up my morning listening. But he was talking about how when people say okay, we're going to go to the gym, and people that aren't avid gym people, they're like, oh my gosh, I've got to get up at 5:30 and I have to get my water, and then I've got to get my socks, and then I've got to get my running shoes, and then I've got to get in the car, and then I've got to put in my maps, and then I've got to find the place.
Are you talking about me?
Right. As he was saying this, I was like, yes, that's me, check. And it says, then we get to the gym, and then, oh my gosh, we've got to sign up for the membership, and then we have to give our card, and then we didn't remember our card, and then we have to go find the locker, and then we can't find it, and everything's a mess, and then we finally get to class and we're late. And he said, and then when you say hey, something that you're really passionate about, okay, Lauren, we're going to build a website for you. You're like, yep, done, easy. And he said, the things that are hard for us, we make 1,000 steps because they feel impossible, and we make it a lot harder for ourselves than it actually needs to be. Whereas for me, it's okay, I'm going to go dental consulting. Well, for you might be like, oh my gosh, build the list, what's going on, so many things. And the point of that whole story was, when things are hard and they're out of our wheelhouse, we make it 1,000 times harder for us, as opposed to, hey, Lauren, what do I need to do to hire this photographer? Well, here's an easy cheat sheet. This is all you need to do. Go for it. And you're going to get great results. That is so simple compared to my I have to go on Upwork, and Upwork is the worst place in the world, and I don't know what to do. And we make it so much more complex than it needs to be, when it really can be so simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you don't, I would say for anybody that's listening that owns a dental practice, you don't need a consultant like me to hire a photographer for you and coach them. I'll provide some of those tips, and you can give that to your photographer. It's just about angles and spacing and, and the types of things not to put in your photos, leave out the masks, leave out the sharp tools, but definitely show off your dental technology, right? So there's just little things there that visually we might not be thinking about because you're in the practice every day, and that's totally fine. So I'll definitely give that to you. But
great idea. I love that.
Yeah. So I think that's just one easy, low hanging fruit change that you can make. You don't have to overhaul your whole website or redo your brand right away, although that's a super fun project. And for somebody like me, it might seem like a nightmare for a dentist,
Yeah, right. So, they're listing off every single step to rebrand, and you're like, easy peasy, got this in the bag.
Totally.
So, and I will say rebranding was really fun. When we rebranded from Dental Masters to Dental A-Team, it was a really fun project. And it was one of those things where I said, no, I don't want to do this. And I am so happy with the results, with the product, with the, everything about what we did with our rebrand makes me just more excited about the company, about the product, and something I just feel more proud about. So I will say, don't be afraid of it.
It feels like you. It feels, in line with the way that you run your business. It's bright and cheerful and fun, And that's really what we were going for. So
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So Lauren, I want to dive in because I know your kiddos are going to wake up, but I want to pick your brain because you tempted me with this topic of social media's like do's and don'ts. So and I think because you see it all the time, I'm sure you scroll and just giggle sometimes at some of the things we're posting as these newbies to our marketing world. What would you say would be some good social media marketing do's and don'ts that you have seen that could really help out?
Well, okay. So
I'm so excited for this. All right, so everybody, we're dropping our like prideful egos right now. We're all taking notes. We're back in elementary school. We're back to this. Like, we don't really know what we're doing. So I think when we can actually drop those egos and be humble, we can learn so much. So there you go, Lauren, have at it. Say whatever you want to say. No offense will be taken.
Okay, cool. I see a lot of, pictures of gums and teeth and mouths and tongues and stuff like that online. So when I'm scrolling through, like, for example, if I'm on your Instagram, Kira, for Dental A Team, I scroll through your feed and I'm looking and I go, oh my gosh, there's a lot of dental surgeries on here. And I totally get that you want people to know that you do that service. I think there's other ways and creative ways that you can do that. Initially, I would put up like a branded image, and then on Instagram you can slide to the next one, right? So on the branded image, I would just say like sensitive, topics. If you're squirmy, don't scroll through, but if you're interested in dental surgery, definitely take a look, and so that your visual of when somebody goes to your page, it looks aesthetically pleasing. I call it the blanket, right? So it's like a quilt. So if you go to anybody's Instagram page and you open up their page for the first time, there's like a quilt. It's like the feed, there's 3 photos in a row or videos or whatever. How does that look? Is it aesthetically pleasing? Does it look inviting? Does it say, follow me? I have interesting content here. So I would say you don't have to stay away from the gums and teeth and surgeries and things that you're doing, but definitely make it appealing to your customers. If they find you there, will they want to follow you? And so you can just do that by simply putting up just sort of like a cover on that blanket. And, as people are scrolling, the way that Instagram works, the algorithm, right? So they might see in their feed that initial photo the first time. They might also see the dental surgery. So you do take that risk because it will toggle back and forth to everything that you have in your slide just to give you more visibility. But, the other thing too is just taking advantage of your story. And you can also place a graphic there too that says the same thing, like new post, dental surgery. And then, the next slide could be something about, if you're sensitive to dental surgeries, definitely, just ask us how we can help you, but don't look at it.
Right. Exactly.
So you can have some fun with that stuff. But I think that's one of the things that I would steer away from is just having your whole feed be dental surgeries, or, things that might make people uncomfortable to see. And then the other thing is just leaving out all of the dental tools, anything that's sharp. I love the intraoral cameras. I don't love the sharp tools on the tray. So, personally for me, I think it's important for offices to show off the advancements in dental technology and the things that they're using and how cool they are. If you're doing 3D imaging, for sure, do some video on that. You can make that an IGTV. You can make that a Facebook story or Facebook Live. I think those are really important things to share, educating your patients. We sort of assume that they know, right? Oh, well, it's on my website that I do all these things, but, we're not showing them regularly. So showing them regularly the advancements in dental technology, but without the scary stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
I like that. When you just said, we're doing all these things in our office, but are we regularly talking about them? I have used this example so many times of when I had the 2 different accountants, and I'd been working with one for a year and they didn't even tell me they were doing payroll. And then I talked to another guy going for something very different. I was going in for helping me set up a business. And he said, oh, Kira, just so you know, if you ever need help with payroll or accounting or any of these things, I offer those as well. And I was like, oh, I totally need payroll. So then I emailed a first accountant said, hey, just so you know, I'm going to start using this other guy for payroll. And then they pop up and they say, oh, well, we actually do payroll. And I'm like, where have you been for the last year and a half of my life?
Yeah.
And the reality is, I'm sure on their website somewhere it said that they did payroll. I'm not there. I'm not looking. And so I love that you just talked about showing the things that we're doing in our office regularly. So that way people know. I think the saddest thing in an office is when a patient comes in and says, oh yeah, I just went and got Invisalign with Dr. So-and-so. And you're like, oh, we do Invisalign in this office and you just went to the dentist next door. And I love that you talked about, you are not in the dental space. You are through marketing, but you're just the average consumer. And so to hear that, hey, those gum teeth that we think are super awesome and those instruments that we think are so rad to show off, like that's not super appealing. And as you were saying, I was thinking back to what we were talking at the very beginning of, what is the feel of our page? What do we want people thinking about? We don't want them being scared. And those things are sometimes scary. I mean, I remember the first time, guys, as a brand new dental assistant, seeing a prepped tooth. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a peg. Like, this is so terrifying that this is what people's teeth look like underneath a crown. Like, this is so scary. And I'm in dental. So the reality is, it is a little bit of a shock. And I think being in the dental industry, we get numb to it. And that becomes a little harder for us.
I mean, and statistics will show you, and you guys all know this, that, you know, patients are avoiding the dentist, and that's why you get the dental emergency calls. Patients are avoiding the dentist not because they, you know, don't care about the health of their teeth and their bodies. It's because they're afraid. And so what's really interesting is if you go into like a pediatric office, the kids are so excited. They're having a blast. They're like my kids love going to the dentist. They get so excited and they get like a prize and, you know, so fun for them. So like, when do we as patients lose that excitement to go to the dentist? Right. And I think some of that is just communication, online presence, and kind of making sure that, you know, as we are moving into, and, you know, I say moving into, but we're already there, a space where people are glued to their phones and their devices and online, you know, they're seeing imagery come through their, you know, devices. And what does that imagery look like? Is it aesthetically pleasing? Is it comforting? Is it warm? Does it feel the way that, you know, back to that, you know, does it feel the way that your inside of your office feels, you know, yes or no? So I would just sort of take an evaluation of the things that you're posting, and see if that's working for you. See what kind of engagement you're getting, you know? So
I like that. And the reality is, there are no failures, just results. So what results are you getting? Are they the results you're looking for? Do you want 1 or 2 likes on your page? And if not, then shake it up. And I love that. It's become so clear for me that everything you're posting, everything you're doing, figure out that avatar, figure out exactly who you're writing to, and will that person want to see this? And is that what they're going to want to engage in? And are we educating? Dr. Yazdan gave a really good example of, hey, if I'm just posting to go to the beach just for the sake of going to the beach, great. That's not really what people want to see. But if it's, hey, I'm going to the beach and I'm drinking this water because it's really good for my teeth, and then I also took fruit with me because it's high in vitamin C. Like, she educates so people want to continue reading and they're engaged, and start to see what types of traction you get. So, Lauren, those are really good do's and don'ts on social media. I've just been dying to hear this because we talked about it and I wanted to know, what do you see? What do people see? And I remember one time somebody told me, and Lauren, you do a really good job of this on all the ones you're doing. They say to have a lot of faces, like smiling faces and happy, because faces engage people. Is that true? Is that still common?
It's a psychology thing, you know. It's like we, you know, there's a lot of psychology also around like the colors that you use and things like that. And so, you know, it's just a matter of like what's going to draw people in and be interesting to them. If it's positive and, you know, uplifting and educational, and there's some value there for the user, then for sure, absolutely post it. So that should kind of be your benchmarker. And like, really, what do you want people to know about your office? If somebody doesn't know you at all and has never heard of you, what do you want them to know? And so I always just take that approach when I'm, you know, creating a plan for somebody is, you know, what don't I see on your website? What don't I see on your social media that you are really passionate about? And sometimes that's sedation, and sometimes that's, you know, and so sedation's kind of a tricky one too, right? So, there's a lot of negativity that you can draw from sedation. You can say, oh, you're you must be afraid of the dentist. If you are, we have this option. So I would take out all of the fear words and all of the negative words too. So it's not just your visuals, it's your copy too, making sure that it's totally positive. Like we want to make sure when you come to our office that you have a totally positive experience. We offer these sedation options so that you can come in and be totally comfortable and leave walking out and feeling like you had a great experience, just like you did when you were a kid, Mm-hmm. So that might be the messaging that you're conveying that's positive instead of negative. So I'm always really cautious with doctors that I meet I always encourage them to be really cautious of fear-based marketing, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're afraid of the dentist, so here's our solution. Mm-hmm. So it's totally visual, and it's and you have to think about everybody learns differently, right? So you and I are visual learners. We know that other people need to read, so the text is super important too.
I like it. Lauren, that was just a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate you getting up early, spending your morning with me, and then dropping some super good tangibles. So guys, take this. I think it's, they say a real decision isn't made until real action's taken. So, decide, how are you going to ramp this up? And I know we spit out a ton of content for you on this podcast, but I do feel these are easy little changes that don't require a massive amount of super hard planning. It's not hard. Don't have the gym analogy where it's 75 steps to get to the gym. Make it the one or two things that you can implement today to really help. And Lauren, thanks for the feedback. So guys, she gave the information on the website, making sure your website matches your beautiful office, snagging that cheat sheet of how to hire an awesome photographer and getting rid of stock photos. So you really have some personal photos. And honestly, I am guilty. If you go to thedentalateam.com, we have some stock photos on there. So Lauren, we've got to change those out. We are working on that. That is my fault. We're going to
photo shoot coming.
Photo shoot is coming. I did take some photos, but I'm going to just get this done. And then, the do's and don'ts on social media. So making sure it's not fear-based, it's not scary, and then testing it. What are your people engaging with you? Are you getting it, or are we just showing up? And really working that to make sure that you're having the exact feel of what you want your office to be on the inside of your practice, to your website, to your social media, making sure there's that consistent theme. So Lauren, thank you so much. And guys, Lauren is a fantastic marketer. So if people want to get in touch with you, Lauren, how do they do it?
You can visit our website. It's edwilsonmarketing.com. And, I think one of the things that is important to know is don't go run and fire your marketing team. Consult with them and have a strategy call with them on, what you can do to implement some of these things. I think that's super important. So you can definitely visit our website or, search my name anywhere on the web. And get in touch with us that way if you need to.
And she's the brunette Lauren Edwilson. So there's not a lot of them.
One's blonde. I don't know her, but she has the same name and she's in marketing also.
There you go. So Lauren is the brunette. So look for that one. But Lauren, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yep, you bet. All right, Dental A Team listeners, thanks for checking in with us, and we'll catch you next time on the Dental A Team podcast. That wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.